evening, everybody, and welcome back inside historic Keyworth Stadium, where tonight a smoking hot Detroit City FC side plays host to the Chicago Mustangs. Alongside my broadcast partner, John Krieger, on tonight's Google 5 broadcast. My name is Neil Rule. Happy to have you with us. And, John, this Detroit City FC side on a roll.
11 goals in 3 games, Neil. And you know what? The team is gelling so much faster than I think even manager Sam Perroni would have thought. It's a great start.
You know, certainly, and a great start for a lot of players, including Marley Taylor. Now, we remember when we were here at Keyworth last time, she scored an absolute banger, but there's more to her game than world-class goals.
She's so versatile, really. She can play in any formation. If it's the 4-3-3, she's got the ability to be close in on the ball. The 3-5-2 in space, she can really create. And that, for her type of position, is exactly what City needs.
Absolutely. Just world-class goal from her last time. And speaking of goals for Detroit City FC, they've been scoring a lot of them as of late. And Maddie Wolfbauer got a pair. As a matter of fact, she's the UWS Player of the Week. And, John, this machine, as we're talking about right now, certainly everybody will get a turn, and it was Maddie's turn.
And a well-deserved honor for the brace. So good for Maddie. She's got 2 great feet. She can turn, she can create, and she can finish as well.
The first matchup of the season for the Chicago Mustangs, a very tall challenge as they come in to Keyworth tonight. And when we come back, of course, we'll get you the starting 11s, and we will kick it. It's Detroit versus Chicago, DCFC, and the Chicago Mustangs. And we will kick it coming up next.
Chevy is America's fastest growing full-line brand, and people are taking it everywhere. Taking Trailblazer outdoors, confidently taking on new places with Equinox, and taking on more with Silverado. Whatever you do, there's a perfect Chevy to take you anywhere. Find your perfect Chevy. GM employees with a current eligible Chevy lease can get this Blazer for $219 a month. Chevrolet, the best-selling family of SUVs in Metro Detroit. Chevy drives the Motor City. Visit ChevyDetroit.com.
The highways and the thruways try to map you, baby. I got your back.
To the rest of the world, Detroit is where they build cars. But to your Metro Detroit Chevy dealers and everyone who proudly call themselves Detroiters, it goes way beyond that.
I got your back.
Detroit may be known for building cars, but together, we all built Detroit.
We are one when we get going.
Put it in D and see why Chevy drives the Motor City.
Detroit City FC Soccer is presented by Google 5, a different kind of phone plan. By your Metro Detroit Chevy dealers, Chevy drives the Motor City. And by Ally. Start saving for what matters to you at Ally.com. Welcome back inside historic Keyworth Stadium and our Google 5 broadcast. Detroit City FC getting ready to host the Chicago Mustangs. First match of the season for the Chicago Mustangs. And, John, we talked about a little bit in the open, though certainly a very tall challenge for this Mustangs side to come in. Your first match is here. That's a big ask.
It is, and also for a young team like they are. You take a look at the mission of this club. It's for bringing up younger players.
And let's check out our starting 11s, brought to you by DMC, the official sports medicine provider of Detroit City FC. And there you see, John, one thing we know for sure, there'll probably be some goals here tonight by those 11 out there on the pitch.
There's a lot of firepower out there. Of course, you got Wolfbauer up front. I also like Tatiana Mason. Great top corner free kick in the win over Corktown midweek, and she can create some things as well. There's a lot of attacking impetus on the pitch right now for Sam Perroni's club.
The Chicago Mustangs and their starting 11 also brought to you by the DMC. They have some firepower up top. Also, Nina Nakosia, a Louisville commit, plays for the Argentinian U20 national team. She's the real deal.
She is. This is a homeschooled kid from Illinois who is the daughter of a professional soccer player. So she's been living that training life kind of since she was about 13 years old. This is what she knows. It's what she wants to do, and she's very good. Has a magical left foot.
There certainly is a lot of international experience for the Chicago Mustangs side. Their starting keeper, number 1, Anna Carpenter, plays for the Canadian U20 national team as well. She was a player of the match after they beat the United States in the under-17 CONCACAF World Cup qualifiers. So, as we said, lots of international experience, some high-level experience for the Mustangs. And, John, as always, this will be a lot of fun. It's always fun here at Keyworth. But, you know, you look at what these two coaches are trying to do, and they have the same goals. They both want to possess the ball. How does one go about that? You both want to possess it. What determines who gets it?
Well, I think what's going to determine that is the fact that the DCFC has gelled together so well. Because as much a part of having the ball is when you don't have it, winning it, and also winning it in a position where you're playing as an entire unit and you are cutting off angles for Chicago to try and do things. I think having 3 matches under their belt and a very impressive training regimen under their belt, City is better poised to be that unit tonight. And so, yeah, there's only one ball. Both sides want possession. But I think City will be better poised to win it back off the ball, and that will translate quickly to attack.
The Mustangs have the possession to get things started. The whistle sounds, and we are underway here at historic Keyworth Stadium as Carol Soto makes a run up the left side for Chicago. The opening kick temperature 60 degrees and dropping. The wind is blowing right into your face as you're watching this match on your TV screen, computer monitor, however you're doing it. We're certainly glad that you are. This portion of tonight's Watch City broadcast brought to you by DMC, the official sports medicine provider of Detroit City FC. The ball played back, a throw-in coming up for the Chicago Mustangs. Alexi Diaz will toss it in. The Mustangs looking to go to work. City now with their first possession. Ball sent in ahead, looking for Kenna White. And, John, that's certainly always a good strategy to try to find Kenna White. She's been very dynamic to start this season. The Northern Guard, they're in mid-game form already. It's a smoke party, as it usually is. And
the fun part is, Neil, this is the first match of all the ones we've done here on our city broadcast where the wind is blowing from the Northern Guard onto the field. It's a better chance of a smoke delay this evening as the pyrotechnics come out.
It's always in the forecast. Ball touched ahead. Nakosia with her first touch. We will keep an eye on her. Mia Perry with it on that right flank. Just a into this match. And, John, the Mustangs with some good possession so far. Nice ball sent up ahead. The target was Nakosia. And as we thought, John, she would be the focal point of this offense, and she certainly is so far.
Yeah, and making good runs. Doing the thing that a forward attacker should do, which is to give your teammates a place to provide service. And that's what she's done. And that one was just there was a little too much mustard on the hot dog. And she couldn't control it.
Karpenko will play it for the goal kick. Plays her college soccer at Harvard. So that tells me one thing, that she's smarter than John and I.
Combined.
Yep. I mean, I wanted to give us a little credit, but
nope.
In the end, you're right. I know the truth.
The Ivy League is another level altogether. 3 at the back early for City, and what they are doing is trying to clog up that midfield. The best talent that Chicago has is to be able to move the ball through midfield. And so Sam Perroni early, clogging up that midfield, cutting off the angles, and a great job to shut down possession there by City early.
Wolfbauer gives chase. Now Kenna White will close in. And the pressure will bear fruit as Detroit City FC will get the throw in. And that's something Sam Perroni talked with us about this week, John, is they will attack defensively, but they will pick their spots. They pick the spot there, and it worked.
That's exactly. You want to cut off the angles, and then when you have eliminated all the options for any kind of safety for Chicago. Then you go in and you force the mistake. Pressure, pressure, pressure.
Lisa Bayron had it for a moment. Now the Mustangs will get it back. Here in the 4th minute, Neil Rule, John Krieger with you. Our Google 5 broadcast. Detroit City FC and the Chicago Mustangs. UWS soccer here on a Saturday night on a holiday weekend. And just sampling the crowd here at historic Keyworth. Everybody's in holiday weekend mode, if you know what I mean. And I think you know what I mean. Pass slotted ahead. Madison Duncan gave chase to it, unable to track it down. Duncan plays her college soccer at Michigan State. 32 matches started after transferring from Louisiana Lafayette. Went to Troy High School. Was a member of the Dream Team, an All-Stater.
That's a nice cutout by City. And 2 runners already going toward goal to be there for service.
Oh, and Hughie makes her move and will win a free kick in a very dangerous spot early on. Hughie with the hesitation. Speaking of Michigan State, the longtime Michigan State Spartan, played over 50 matches during her time there.
And she knew she had more class than Perry. Perry's a young kid, and Sarah just knew she could turn on the Jets, go around and force Perry into committing the foul. And now City's so good on set pieces, loading up the back post. Swing one in there, put it in the mixing bowl, see what happens.
Tatiana Mason will give the service. She had a goal last match against Corktown. Mason sends it into the middle. It's backheeled just over top of the frame. But you saw what they were looking to do there, John. They nearly pulled it off.
Yep, load up the back post and send somebody in there and put it in front of them, and let's go. And Tatiana Mason's so good on the ball, well controlled. She is a set-piece wizard, as we saw Wednesday night down the corner ballpark.
And that was a big win for Detroit City FC, John. And when last you and I were here for the season opening match, we discussed that match because we saw it coming up on the horizon, and City more than answered the bell. A very convincing 3-0 win.
And it was a win that they needed just to maybe assert their authority here, not only in the league, but in the Motor City. What I really enjoyed in the lead up to that match was the social media banter between the clubs and different things. Corktown trying to poke the bear a little bit. Then they came out and got a full helping into Northern Guard, and they were weighed, measured, and found wanting, and we'll go from there. But what it was a good organic start to things, and a match that City needed to win early, and they got that W.
Well, John, you need that. I mean, rivalries, that's a part of rivalries. There has to be a dislike, and it's got to be genuine, too.
Yeah, and the fun part about it is there's another club here in the Metro Detroit area that kind of tried to create manufactured rivalries by assumption. I think Corktown, at least, is trying to do so in terms of getting soccer supporters engaged and just embracing that dislike. And I think it's going to be a fun rivalry in the women's game.
A foul is called against the Mustangs. Ashley Zuge got the whistle. Plays her college soccer at Nebraska. 34 matches started. Went to Ann Arbor Pioneer High School. Also played during her youth career for Vardar. Of course, Damir Muhtari, the coach there for Vardar. He's had a lot of success during his stint there.
Early impressions here, Neil. City, a lot of passes with purpose. Chicago, a lot of passes for passes. And the former will beat the latter every time.
It's interesting, too, John, because we talked about 3 or 4 minutes into this match, the Mustangs had the better of the possession, but you saw with that pressure, with that defensive pressure, City just turned on the water. And since that time, they flipped, they've really flipped the pitch.
It's a difference of about 5 yards. When Chicago had that early joy and got those couple of the balls in and half chance there for Nakosia, the City back line was playing at about the 35-yard line, 30-yard line of their own half of the football markings out there. They've pressed forward. They're on the halfway line right now. They're forcing Chicago back. And Chicago doesn't have the aggressiveness yet to take it up and try to extend the field. And so if you get compacted like this, it creates an environment where mistakes are right to happen.
As Kenna White tries to apply defensive pressure, and that's really, John, through the first 8.5 minutes of this match, Kenna White's the one that I have my eye on as far as the size advantage that she has. If she works 1v1, she will be a target here for Detroit City offensively. And you know how I like to do this, John. I'm going out on the limb, and I'm calling it right now.
You call a Kenna White goal? That's,
yeah.
Well, that's, you know, in the betting game, that's about minus 500 odds at some time. But you've got a situation where Kenna, the thing that makes Kenna so special, though, right now, we haven't seen her get a touch on the ball. What we have seen her do is run on the ball a lot. All of City's forwards are willing to work without the ball. They don't just sit there and expect the ball to end up at their feet, and that's a big part of what Samperani wants. He wants a unit. He wants 11 players working. And when you see that work from your forwards, it does really build into the team. And look at how quickly City is getting back. They were pressed so far forward, and Chicago makes a run, and there's already 4 City players behind the ball.
Mustangs looking for the counter. Ball threaded through. City wanted a flag. They will not get it. That volley sent in on frame. Becca Prispillo, as always, off the line, able to make the grab. But Mallory Olsen, a big-time player, plays her college soccer at Central Florida, was a transfer from the U, from the Miami Hurricanes. She played in every match, scored 4 goals for Miami. She's a high-level player.
She is. She looked a little timid there. I think would have liked that strike back. But she can certainly run. And the thing she's known for down there in South Florida is her speed, her pace, and her precision. So she is a decent weapon up front, but she was checked nicely by the City back line.
She had a brace against Temple back in February for Central Florida. She will be somebody you have to keep an eye on as well. As we talked about, this Mustang side up top, pretty talented. If you judge by the international experience they have, the high level of universities that they play for, you have to pay attention and account for them.
And their manager, Dina Dolevsky, this is a guy who's scored a lot of goals at the indoor soccer level. And so he knows what it takes to win and win in the major indoor soccer league. He's tried to bring that to Chicago and Chicago Mustangs. And, you know, all told early, it's a power-packed team. The problem is all that power-packed attacking talent, Neil, they haven't gotten it to him much. And that's the fault of the City midfield and what has been excellent play for the first 11 minutes.
As you said, Dino Dolevsky in his first season here as coach for the Mustangs, their first season in this league. Very accomplished professional player, was an NAIA All-American at Oklahoma City University. You said it, John, as Kenna White sends the cross inside the 18. Comes free. Now it's poked away. The Mustangs attempting to look for the counter. Whistle goes against LaRouge. But as you said, very accomplished professional career, scored 358 goals in a 10-year Arena Soccer League career. He had 213 of them for the Kansas City Comets from 2001 to 2005. Ball slotted ahead. Roll in to Prispillo. She will scoop it up.
And that's what I'm talking about right there, Neil. That's a pass for pass's sake. She didn't pick up her head. There was nobody there for that ball. That's ceding possession back.
There's a challenge by Flores. That nearly worked out for the Mustangs. Throw-in coming up for Rachel Cutella. Plays for Arkansas State University. This ball sent through. Here come the Mustangs on the attack again, and the ball is parried with the right foot. We just got done talking about Mallory Olsen, and she strikes, John. That was a high-quality finish with the right foot just inside the left post.
Well, Samperani said it. He didn't want to concede early. All right, you've conceded early. Now what do you do? Really a lot of space down the wing. A really good strike. Prispillo was coming forward, had to try to reach back for it. Nothing she could do. And City just went off the boil, started from that mistake to cede the throw-in. And all of a sudden, it's 1-0 to the Mustangs. Nice play to the outside. Last-ditch tackle attempt. Nothing Prispillo could do. Just a high-quality finish. Push the ball to the outside, put the boot through it, and that's 1-0.
There was little doubt with that strike by Olsen. Chicago Mustangs get the jump. They have the 1-0 lead here in the 14th minute.
I've got to give Chicago credit. I'm a fan of their kit, by the way. They sash across the front of the jersey with the Stars for Chicago flag. Quality kit.
Diaz plays it back to the keeper. Got an update for the Detroit City FC U23 score as they have the lead over Livonia 2-0 at the break. Tanyi with the goal. One of the two from the Detroit City FC U23 side. DCFC, John, as a club, as an organization, looking for 9 points here today.
Yeah, 3 matches. The women's second team playing this morning as a marquee match in the Canton Cup and taking a win over Rebels FC. Bit of a physical play there. Here's Margaret Berry. She's going to throw it in.
Berry sends it in towards the 18. It's knocked down, stepping through. Just dispossessed at the last moment. Mustangs will clear it out. But John, that City back line aggressively on the offensive side of the midfield line. That's your answer. What's Zamperani going to do? There's your answer.
Press, and press some more. And this is exactly what we saw a couple of weeks ago when it was against Muskegon Risers. Fine, you took your foot off the gas for 2 seconds, they scored. Now let's go ahead and get back and press. Sometimes for a side that is so well drilled in, so favored, it takes a little shock to the system to hit the start button. And maybe that's what the first goal is.
Ball set in, and that was given a go by Margaret Berry. Mike Carpenter had to be sharp to make the grab.
Well, we know Berry is so good defensively, but she's taken the last 2 long free kicks. I think it ran a little bit on her with the wind blowing slightly toward the Chicago goal in the first half. It is a cross-field wind, though. Going to make corners from the far corner flags interesting all night.
About 11 to 15 miles per hour, so certainly not insignificant. Certainly can impact the flight of the ball.
It's going to, and it will play to make corners from both flags. I talked about the far flags. It will also hang up corners from the near side flags. That's advantage attacker.
Leah Frederick tries to make a turn. She was played very nicely by Soto. Good job defensively. This, John, is a Detroit City side that not really used to trailing.
No, first time all season they've been behind. They were level just after halftime against Muskegon Risers, but an easy win in Lansing. And then the win over Corktown. So we'll see how Zamperani's club responds. And the other thing about the early concession, if we're being honest, it allows Chicago, not that they want to play this way, but it allows them to be compact if they need to.
There you see a flat-out grab by Carol Soto. She caught a yellow card for it, so keep an eye on that booking. And I don't care who you are, John. You catch a yellow card in the 18th minute of the match. That changes the way you run the rest of the match.
And it will because of the way she plays defensively as well. We saw that down in the corner. She's not afraid to be physical. She's got to watch that down.
Margaret Berry will serve again. She gives one another lash. Carpenko had to play the short hop.
Handled like a good shortstop.
Pass ahead to Soto. Now that pressure really turning up by Detroit City. Kenna White gave chase.
They've gone to just 2 at the back right now, City. 2 center backs with their feet on the halfway line. Everybody else pushing forward and trying to force Chicago into a mistake. Chicago still wanting to play out from the back. You got to be really precise with passes in your own end when you do that. That's a nice cutout.
City will get it right back. Mallory Olsen lurking up in midfield. They're going with the single attacker now, John. So that's your answer as far as what Chicago will try to do defensively.
They've dropped Nakosia back, but she has the pace. Nakosia, who's sitting there just off of Olsen up front, has the pace to come up and be a second forward attacker very quickly. Impressions through the first 20 minutes, to be honest, Neil. City not as sharp as their last two matches. The touches are a little bit heavy. The possession has not been as crisp. The intensity is there, but intensity has to come with execution.
Here comes an opportunity for City, and that ball is slotted home from the top of the 18. Chicago Mustangs made a mess of it, and the Rouge capitalizes.
They score, they shout, the Northern Guard will smoke them out, and that's exactly what happens. We talked about the pressure and the intensity being there and forcing mistakes, and that is exactly what happened from a young team trying to play it out from the back. And when the mistake was made, it was capitalized on.
Maddie Wolfbauer, the reigning UWS Offensive Player of the Week, making a bid to go back-to-back.
And look at the way she turned body, one touch. She was perpendicular to the goal. Turned the body, struck with the foot, knew the keeper was out. All she had to do was get it past her. She did, and we're level.
That pressure bears fruit. Ball touched ahead, just out of the reach of Aaliyah Frederick. And that's what you get. The ball goes in the back of the net. Smoke comes out.
Very happy Northern Guard members. Able to pop smoke. Another mistake. Wow.
I'll tell you what, the Chicago Mustangs are running with the devil here. Right now, they paid the price once. They nearly paid again.
Yeah, that's an Icarus style pass. You're flying pretty close to the sun right there.
Aaron played it down. Now here comes the Mustangs again. That ball chipped ahead, and Brispillo. The Stonewall save. Mallory Olsen thought she had a second. Brispillo said negative.
What makes that Brispillo save so good? Not necessarily the collection, Neil, but knowing there was going to be pain. Because Olsen was coming in, and as soon as Brispillo had that ball, there was going to be that free bump, and that's going to hurt. And Becca didn't care and went down and got it.
Way off the line to make the play is Carpenter, and she got in trouble by doing that just a few moments ago. She was out there again, and here comes City. Here's Hughie. Cross sent in. Laid back out.
These last 2-3 minutes, better from City in terms of the precision. Since the goal, aggressively chasing a second.
Nearly another giveaway by the Mustangs. I'll tell you what, John, DCFC, they're like sharks circling in the water right now.
Yeah, they're buzzing. And I'll tell you what, Dino Delevsky wants to play the ball off from the back. You see it. They want to play that possession-based football and move the ball. I don't know that he can do that.
City's not having it.
Yeah,
no.
I don't know that they can do that for 90 minutes. Because if you look at it, they get out to their own 18 and they got to send it back pass to the keeper. And they've just turned it over.
There's tons of real estate for Marley Taylor to work in. City will just get it back. Frederick has some available room to run. She chips it up top over the frame. This portion of tonight's Watch City broadcast is brought to you by the Metro Detroit Chevy Dealers. Tonight's Chevy Dealer Youth Club of the Match is DCFC Genesee 03 Boys Maroon Team. Coached by Christian Pumphrey, the team has been volunteering each week with the Davidson Schools recreational program this spring. They are coaching teams, teaching players the fundamentals of the game, proper technique, all while having fun. And folks, that is the bottom line.
We haven't seen her a lot on the screen tonight, but another player that deserves some recognition is Ashley Zuge. She's been the marker for most of the night against Nakosia, and it's why only Olsen has really had a touch for Chicago and gone to that kind of single attacker model, and that really allows the rest of City's players to get up and create that pressure against the back line for Chicago, and another turnover.
They are mounting right now for the Mustangs. Ball chipped ahead. It's headed down, but City will step through with the possession again.
Good touch.
Sent out wide. Zuge with it. She's taken down. The foul called against Zuge. And John, break it down for me here. What did Becca Brisbillo do so right to keep this match level at 1?
Made the body big, came out, was unafraid to claim, and then just kind of turtled and knew that Olsen was going to go over the top. That save doesn't happen if Brisbillo doesn't have the reflex to come out and try and cut off the angle and claim the ball. She's basically trying to make Olsen take that touch early, and then she just goes down and claims it. It's keeper reflexes. If she stays back in that goal, she gives a lot of room for Olsen to be able to pick out her spot. She took that away.
A goal kick coming up. Brisbillo will put the boot to it. And I'll tell you what, John, we have an early one in the running for the Ally save of the match. Early entry.
I'll tell you what, the shot to the rib cage makes that a contender.
Right.
Just on physical cost alone. But that's why Brisbillo was so good. She was that way in high school and has continued that in her college career. A really solid, really instinctive, really reflexive keeper.
Pass ahead, knocked down. Here comes Olsen. Touching it wide to the left side. There's Kelly Flores. Olsen again. Dangerous. Threads it through. Just out of the reach.
Look at Brisbillo trying to steal the goal kick. And I think she got it. She did. Stole the goal kick. Love it.
Let's see it again.
No way this should have been a goal kick. First off, look at how quickly Nakosia comes in there. And then Brisbillo comes out and gets the body big enough to redirect it back onto Nakosia's shin.
And sold it.
And sold it.
Coffees for closers.
That is excellent. Coffee and sprinkles.
Yeah.
All for closers.
th minute, 1-1 the score. Neil Rule, John Krieger with you in our Google 5 broadcast.
Better. Oh, wow. Olsen just beat her there for a second.
Here's Nakosia. Attempted to track it down, just couldn't quite catch up to it.
Neil, Nakosia's pace is scary. Remember, she's playing off of Olsen. She's playing 2 or 3 yards behind Olsen. And the last two forward balls for Chicago, she's been the player forward through trying to make something happen. Quick player.
Well, John, I mean, as we said, she plays for the Argentinian U20 national team. She's going to Louisville.
Yep.
You know, it's not by accident.
And
she
frankly,
is formidable.
You know, we talked about it in the open a little bit. This is a homeschooled player. She trains hours every day. She's decided this is her path in life. And her father was a professional soccer player as well. And so throughout her formative years, he's taken the lumps that he has, earned in his own career and taught her. And there was a great article in the Chicago Tribune about her and about the path she's taken as a player.
Backdoor run nearly paid off for City. Caitlin Cannon. Send it back to the keeper. The pressure continues. Mustangs trying to break down City defensively with that possession. And John, it's interesting, City has come off that high line pressure just a bit, and now the Mustangs able to possess
and get some things done. But I think part of that is because what Sam Perroni is doing is changing up the formation. And the slip there will allow me to expand on it. They started this match in the 3-5-2, but one of the things he likes to be able to do, we saw it in Lansing. First half he was in a 3-5-2, and then later he went to a 4-3-3, and they can switch to and from both of those formations. And so the ability to switch from the 3-5-2 to the 4-3-3 can really create some different looks. And I think they've gone to a 4-3-3 here.
Carol Soto plays her college soccer at NC State, also played for the United States U15 national team, tried to make a turn. Mustangs still have it, however. Threaded ahead, here's Flores making a run. Olsen inside the 18. Nakosia up into the box also. She was the target. City see if they can build a counter. Wolfbauer, who has the goal for City, settled it down.
City need to put together a run of just quality touches. I don't know whether it's the cold or the wind. I don't know what it is, but a lot of balls in, a lot of passes are bouncing away from their intended target. We haven't seen some of the close control we saw the last time the women were here at Keyworth, or even in their last two away matches. And that one runs a little bit.
Early substitution here for Dino Delevsky. Keegan Schmeiser will come in to the match. Coming out is Caitlin Cannon. 7 substitutions allowed here in UWS play. So you have some at your disposal. If you see something you don't like necessarily early, you have that freedom to make a change.
And a change on 30 minutes tells me that Dino Delevsky sees some vulnerabilities out there that City haven't yet been able to truly take advantage of. And he's trying to shore that up early, because in the substitution, Cannon didn't go check with the trainer. That's just a tactical sub.
Olsen's pass misdirected. City will give it back. Throw-in coming up now for Detroit City as we move towards the 33rd minute. Neil Rule, John Krieger with you. Our Google 5 broadcast here tonight. 1-1 the score. And John, it's been a good one so far. We've seen the ebbs and flows. We've seen both sides really deliver some haymakers. It's been entertaining soccer.
It has. And the other thing about it is I wasn't quite sure. Frankly, this is the first outing of the season for Chicago Mustangs. I wasn't sure how they were going to react to Keyworth. I wasn't sure how they were going to react to playing together against a team that's leading the league right now. And they've come out and they've showed very well. They haven't been intimidated. They've been able to win some physical battles. They're still living dangerously at the back, but they've been able to make Becca Prisbillo think.
Well, and John, I think that goes back to, as we talk about the colleges that some of the Mustangs players play for, the international levels as well. Canadian U20 national team, Argentinian U20 national team. Lara Schneck has played for the Wolfsburg in the Bundesliga, was in German U20 national team camp. I mean, these are battle-tested players that play at a very, very high level.
And you don't get to that level without showing some kind of soccer IQ.
No.
And it's funny, I think, when Dino Delevsky was talking to us, I think he was sandbagging just a little bit. Because he made a big deal about how he wasn't sure his kids were going to be able, they were a young team, Didn't know how they were going to react to Keyworth. Well, they've reacted well.
That ball played up in the air as Kelly Flores gave it a go. She will have the possession. She's taken down, and the whistle will sound, and this will be a booking against Aaliyah Frederick.
That's an interesting booking. That might be just an evener booking.
There was a lot of conviction on the part of the official, too. There was never a doubt.
That's if that's the standard for a booking, fine. Then I want to see that applied for the next 60 minutes.
Couple of substitutions now for Chicago here in the early going. Emily Chudik will come into the match.
She comes in for Kelly Flores. Last 10 minutes of this first half going to be crucial, Neil. City can get the lead going into halftime. Vastly different. And I think it'll let Sam Perroni set things up for the second half a lot better. If Chicago gets that lead, well, then I would expect them at that point. You've got at least you try to at least protect the point. Nakosia, so good with that, but she was so left foot dominant there. Just in that little bit of possession there, you see how to beat Nakosia. If she had two quality feet, she might have switched feet there as she was trying to take the ball across the field. Stayed primarily on the left. So you want to, it's kind of like Hunter Dickinson from Michigan basketball. You want to force to the less used hand.
Nakosia sent it across. Perspillo off the line to make the grab, and we're going back and forth. Wide open right now, John. It's fun to watch.
It is really end-to-end stuff. And there's a little turn on of the Jets.
Cross sent ahead. Here's Kenna White. Back to goal. Ball chipped over top of the frame. Maddie Wolfbauer made a bid for a brace. Just a little too high, sending it over top.
You know what? That is unselfish play by Kenna White. A lot of strikers would have kept that ball and tried to turn and shoot themselves. She saw Wolfbauer coming in a better shooting position, and Wolfbauer just couldn't finish. Watch out, run on the near side if they find her.
Soto makes a run. She's calling for it. Nakosia couldn't deliver it. Toe poke ahead, looking for Olsen. Perspillo off the line. And right now, the Mustangs getting creative, John.
They are. And they've had a little more joy through midfield. They've taken advantage of some looser City passes. They've found their rhythm between the attacking players.
This portion of tonight's broadcast is brought to you by DCFC's official financial services partner, Ally. Start saving for what matters to you at ally.com.
First Norfolk and Southern train rattles by Keyworth in the background.
That ball just trickles over the line. There it is. Always a tradition here at historic Keyworth Stadium. Of course, those train tracks help move America, John.
I just, you know what, it is the perfect picture for the city Detroit is. The world keeps moving right next to historic Keyworth Stadium.
Tatiana Mason trying to keep it moving. Instead, it's a goal kick for the Mustangs. DCFC will hit the road. After this match, they'll play at the Muskegon Risers in a return engagement next Saturday. They'll next be at home June 12th against Corktown AFC. And, John, this is a big match here with the Mustangs. You start getting the return matches, the finish line all of a sudden jumps in sight, which is crazy to say, but it's true.
You know, and it sets up as you get ready for the UWS playoffs. You want to be in a situation where you've got good seating for that. You're able to qualify for that. And really, if you get 3 points here tonight, you're 12 points out of 12. Maybe you can have a slip somewhere. You don't get 3 points here tonight. Going out to Muskegon, quality club on the west side of the state, gave you fits here at Keyworth a couple weeks ago. It changes the entire perspective on the league campaign. And I'll tell you what, I'm already looking forward. I don't know about you, Parker. I'm looking forward to June 12th. Corktown coming in here is going to be fun.
It certainly will be. I mean, not that they need it, but the Northern Guard, I know, will be a little extra motivated. I mean, they're always a little extra motivated, but they'll even be a little more extroverted.
You know, it's funny. You can always tell the impact that the Northern Guard have, Neil, by the actions of the opposing players. How many times in the
it is a tell, isn't it?
It is. You know, how many times in the men's game have we seen the opposing players go and try to shush the Northern Guard? And on Wednesday night, the captain of Corktown took time to let the Northern Guard know that they were number one, and the Northern Guard picked up on that. So did Sam Perroni, by the way, who happened to notice that the Corktown captain was letting him know that.
Shot in, and a diving stop made by Carpenter, but once again, Maddie Wolfbauer, John, very dangerous at the top of the D.
Such a dangerous turn and a good strike low to the corner. That's a very good save by Carpenter in the Chicago goal. That sets up the set piece, and it's coming from the near side flag, so it's going to hang up. That gives extra time in the air.
Headed on, and Carpenter makes the stop. Perfect execution by City, but even better positioning by Anna Carpenter.
You said it right. That's a great drop in, and there's the look at the turn by Wolfbauer. So quick with the release. That's the second time tonight she's taken a one-touch shot. And Carpenter does well to make the save. And City right back to that back two. They're pressing forward again.
Another throw-in coming up for City, but again, we're seeing that high pressure, John, just as you said, that back two equals pressure up top. It's kind of White unable to control it.
So you've dropped into a you're in a 4-3-3, but you really go with that back two. That means your two fullbacks are coming up both wings, and that allows at least one of your midfielders to creep even further forward and provide support just behind your front attackers. And what that tells me is that Sam Perroni has amazing confidence in his two center backs to be able to handle anything over the top. Now, the way you beat that, if you're Chicago, is to do something they haven't done all night. Give one long ball over the top that makes the center backs make a run, and you're going to get some respect.
White got tangled up with Alexi Diaz.
The fun part about that for Kenny is that she created that. She ran through him, drew the foul.
Mustangs play it out of their final third. Aggressive play by Mia Perry. A little bit too aggressive, so says the official. Fans' big week coming up here at historic Keyworth Stadium. On the men's side, the LA Force will be in town on Wednesday night. A couple of matches next week. Go to deadcityfc.com, get your tickets. The restrictions beginning to loosen, 50% capacity. I'm being told will be the word out of an abundance of caution. But we're getting there, John. We're getting there.
Every time we're here, partner, it feels a little more normal, and we're going to have a bigger crowd on Wednesday night. Don't be caught out. Get to deadcityfc.com. Get those tickets before the 50% capacity of Keyworth is reached. You don't want to miss a moment of Detroit City FC soccer this summer, especially against a team like LA Force, as Trevor James and company try to continue their dominance in Nice.
LA Force running second in the table to DCFC. Another substitution in the meantime for the Chicago Mustangs. Jasmine Ruiz is her college soccer at Villanova. 44 matches started in her career for the Wildcats. Dino Dalewski, very liberal with those substitutions so far.
Well, he knows what he wants to see. I was impressed in our conversation with him about he has a very clear definition.
Defined plan with what he wants to do.
Yep, and if he's not going to see it, he's not afraid to make the change. Good pressure there to force the turnover. The second touch just lets City down a little bit.
Here's some space now for Nakosia.
Force her to her right. That's how to beat her. She wants to go left. Left all day.
That time City does well to shut her down.
Nakosia is kind of like a NASCAR driver on a speedway. She wants to turn left for 4 hours. You got to get her to go right.
Not out there on those road courses, right, John?
Yeah, that's all that is.
Yeah, you're NASCAR elite, aren't you?
Not at all.
No, nor am I.
That is the length of my NASCAR knowledge.
Here comes City. Hughie with that captain arm span. Makes her turn. Her cross deflected. A corner coming up, I believe. No, it will be a goal kick. Zuge runs back. She had a goal against Corktown.
That goal against Corktown, she was on the other end of a Frederick cross that was absolute butter. Just dropped in there on the dime, and Hughie made a very good run to finish.
Ball winged out to the left side. Earl Soto. Olsen the target. Olsen hasn't had a lot of it since she scored the goal. Nakosia threads a nice ball up ahead to the right flank. Through ball will go all the way through to Prisbillo. And we will have 1 minute of stoppage time. Very quick pace to this first half. It was a lot of fun. Up and down we went. Goals, lots of action.
That's what you want to see. End-to-end soccer, not real closed down. Good ball over the top here if Kenny can get on the end of it.
And she does. Kenna White. Her cross sent in. Ball dropped off. Right foot blast. Just high over top of the frame. Marley Taylor gave one a go.
That just floated on Marley a little bit. Good quality touch and a nice job. I think it was Wolfbauer that, again, could have turned. She's got that one touch, but she left it off for a hard-charging Taylor. Unselfish play a couple times today.
Marley Taylor had it again. The Mustangs, I think, will be content to hear that whistle sound, and it does. 45 minutes down, 45 to go, but 1-1 the score. And John, you know, as we were talking about, just a very entertaining 45 minutes of play.
And a pretty fair scoreline. I think City can take it to another gear in the second half. They will need to win, but Chicago has acquitted themselves well, and they deserve being level at the half.
That is the scenario here at historic Keyworth Stadium. 1-1 the score. Halftime feature for you. Also, we'll get you our thoughts from the first half as well. All that and more. 1-1 the score. You're watching City Soccer.
Football is a big deal in this house. So when Maurice was injured, we immediately thought the worst. To see my baby lose his joy hurt.
The DMC, Rehabilitation Institute of Michigan, is here to help athletes get back in the game.
They're like family. It was a long road, but we made it back.
DMC, Rehabilitation Institute of Michigan, a community built on care.
DTE Energy customers can get their share of huge lifetime energy cost savings. How? By using our website. The Oslin's new programmable thermostat saved them a bundle. And their new efficient furnace earned them a hefty rebate. All over Michigan, people like the Oslins are saving. Why not you? There are always new ways to save at dteenergy.com/save energy. DTE Energy.
To play with that crest on your chest is something special, and it's something that they can never take for granted.
you know you have to represent a lot more when you put on the kit than if you're just putting on a kit for 22 guys versus 8,000 in the stadium.
We are a family, you know, we're a football club.
The community is such a big piece of this.
I know that there's so many clubs all over the world, but Detroit City just touches a lot different.
And it's all the way through, and it's in the back of the net. And goal for Ronnie Green.
Sarah Hugie, she created, and Fleming was able to get the tap in.
Steinwasser closes the door.
There had to be all world to make the save, and all world he was.
As far as development, it's essential that we have a youth program.
You're talking about a culture. You're talking about trying to build something that is everlasting.
Detroit City is championship city. Come on. City on 3, 1, 2, 3. 45 minutes in the books, 1-1 the score. Now, Caroline Fleming scored a lot of goals during her college career at Adrian. Let's get to know her a little more. Here's a little segment on Caroline Fleming.
I played at Adrian College, and through that, I kind of got in touch with Ann Arbor FC. I played a season with them, really liked the UWS. I liked how the season went, but then Detroit started a team. It's close to home, and the atmosphere with the men's team, I was like, that's the place I want to be. So I talked to Sam, came to tryouts, and there I was. I actually did not know Sam until my first season with DCFC, but I have a lot of teammates that played for Sam growing up. So a lot of them just like praised him, how he helped develop their game, how he's strong and strict but fair, and I agree with all those statements. And even just in one season with him, I've learned so much about the game, his style of play, and I think he pushes you, but he's also cheering you on, so I've loved my experience with Sam. That first season last summer, I'm just happy we got some games in, some trainings in, but even having a smaller player pool, like it's just such a unique and very different atmosphere, and I'm excited for this summer to have a full roster. I think it makes it more competitive, and it just brings out the best in everybody. Well, I got a job at University of Michigan, so I start at the end of this summer working men's and women's tennis. Yeah, I plan to play as long as I can, so Sam knows that. I'm going to be here all summer playing this season, and I hope to keep making it work. The nice thing is that athletic training doesn't always go all through the summer, so I should be able to keep playing, and my hope is it's a one-year fellowship. I hope after that I'm working college soccer. So I recommend anybody who's looking to play in the UWS, come play for DCFC. I've played on a couple other teams, and the atmosphere is like no other. The girls are amazing. We all just want to win, but we all love getting to know each other and rooting each other on. Like yesterday I got my BSC results and the team was just as happy for me, and there's girls I haven't even met before. So I think it's just a really close-knit atmosphere, and the support we get from the fans is amazing, and it's unlike any other. Every year that we've played in it, or I have played in it, like the competition is so much better and the teams just get better and better. So I think having a good fan base is really going to help us kind of take it to the next level and hopefully be on top of that league.
Hope you enjoyed that little piece on Caroline Fleming. 1-1 the score. Detroit City FC and the Chicago Mustangs. When we come back, myself and John Krieger will break the first 45 minutes down, offer up our thoughts on the second half as well. This is our Google Fi Watch City broadcast.
Goodbye and the spam calls. Hello to a phone plan with built-in spam blocking. See you later, networks that are unsafe. Hello, built-in VPN. Now the networks I join are private. So long, hackers and trackers finding my personal information. Hello to a phone plan that keeps me safe and secure. Goodbye, everything you can't. Hello, Google Fi, a phone plan that can.
S3's actions speak much louder than words.
Others have been paying lip service or writing press releases.
We've engaged with our community with boots on the ground.
Always helping everyone we can.
S3 has always supported our communities. We have impacted more than 50 in our time.
We also bring people together in amazing ways.
We hire for talent and character.
And then we teach new skills and coach professional development.
50% of our leadership team are women.
30% of our leadership are from diverse backgrounds.
Who cares about this?
We care.
All around the world, from Lithuania to Cuba to the USA.
We celebrate diversity and human rights.
95% of our team were hired to do a job they've never done before.
90% of them have grown into different roles than the one we hired them to do.
And 60% of us are military veterans, military spouses, and affiliates.
At S3, this is how we do business, and it works.
Are we for everyone? No. We've turned down business from companies whose principles don't align with ours.
We are a cutting-edge IT solutions corporation with a heart.
We're S3.
Thank you.
Welcome back to historic Keyworth Stadium. 1-1 the score here at the half. Let's get you caught up with the UWS news and notes. Certainly a lot going on and a lot to unpack. Tons of matches coming up as well. Also some headlines as well. Indiana Elite FC will replace Indiana Union. They'll compete in the Midwest South Division. Also some local flavor as well. Maddie Wolfbauer, the Offensive Player of the Week. She had a brace, also an assist against Lansing United. There'll be 13 matches highlighting Week 4, including a spotlight on Connecticut and New England. And John, not only do you pay a high property tax in Connecticut, you also see a lot of goals.
14 of them in 2 games. 14 goals in the back of the old onion bag. Now, granted, small sample size, but that's some good scoring early.
As we said, the property tax is not the only thing that lights you up there in Connecticut. So certainly a lot going on as we go around the UWS, some of the upcoming matches as well. And there you see the Chicago Mustangs you are watching here tonight. They will square off against Steel City on June 9th, but we will have an eye on that Midwest United Corktown match June 4th at 7 p.m.
And also on June 12th, you got Muskegon and Lansing United. Those are going to be some of the tree-shaking matches as we get toward the business end of the season, and that'll determine how much room City has as they try to wrap up their division championship.
That is the scenario for everybody around UWS. So we're right in the middle of it, folks. Tons of matches going on as we make our way through this UWS season. 1-1, hear the score at Keyworth Stadium. When we come back, we'll get you the second 45 minutes of play and our thoughts and some stats as well. This is our Google 5 broadcast of UWS Soccer.
DTE's natural gas is a lot more than just an energy source. It perks up your mornings and eases you into relaxed evenings. It works both hard and smart. It can help heal the body and transport the mind. And at the end of the day, cleaner, safe, affordable natural gas is there to do more than just dry your clothes. It's a warm hug waiting to happen. DTE.
To play with that crest on your chest is something special, and it's something that they can never take for granted.
You know you have to represent a lot more when you put on the kit than if you're just putting on a kit for 22 guys versus 8,000 in the stadium.
We are a family, we're a football club.
The community is such a big piece of this.
I know that there's so many clubs all over the world, but Detroit City just touches a lot different.
And it's all the way through, and it's in the back of the net. A goal for Ronnie Green.
Sarah Hugie, she created, and Fleming was able to get the tap in.
Steinwasser closes the door.
There had to be all world to make the save, and all world he was.
As far as development, it's essential that we have a youth program.
You're talking about a culture. You're talking about trying to build something that is everlasting.
Detroit City is championship city. Come on. City on 3, 1, 2, 3. Welcome back inside historic Keyworth Stadium. 1-1 the scores. We get ready to kick it here in the second half. John Krieger, Neil Rule back with you. And John, as we reconstruct that first 45 minutes of play, while statistically Detroit City likes what they saw, and they did well to create a lot of pressure and a lot of turnovers, it was the capitalization on the turnovers that lacked.
And that's where they need to be better in the second half. The passes have to be better. Yes, they created the turnovers, but they didn't do anything with them. Part of creating and running and pressing forward is that you have to be able to have good touch, close control, and the ability to get it in and finish. And that's where City was lacking. I think that's why we're still 1-1.
Now, keep in mind, pressure was the reason they got that goal here in the match 2 draw level with Chicago. So we'll keep an eye on that going forward in the second half. Let's take a look at how we got here through the first 45 minutes of play. And John, really our thought on this, it remains the same. Back and forth we went. It was exciting. It was like a track meet out there on the pitch.
It was indeed the first goal of the game. Olsen getting a good touch and taking the strike that beat Becca Prisbillo. Not a whole lot Becca could do, but then on the other end of things with some physical play, you see some chippiness. 9 fouls to 4. Chicago with the physical advantage, and we saw some free kicks from Margaret Berry. And then finally you have a mistake and a create, and all of a sudden we're 1-1. And a good equalizer for Detroit City.
Absolutely, and that is where we stand. Should be a fun second 45 minutes of play between these two teams. And so, John, again, going back to it, statistically, Detroit City, I think, liked what they saw, as we'll check out the stats here in just a couple of seconds. They had a big shot advantage. They were able to tilt the pitch throughout portions of that match in the first half.
They were, and I think that's going to continue. Chicago wants to play out from the back. City will take advantage of that. You'll see more pressure.
Yeah, absolutely. As we get the stats here from the first 45 minutes of play, there you saw, and I think you shine a good light on it, John. Very physical at times for Chicago, but that was part of the purpose, I think, coming in here.
Absolutely. The other thing you take a look at, City with 8 shots, but only 5 of them are on frame. Part of the reason for that, I think, is the win. The other part is that City have just been a little too loose with the touches. I think that will show itself up in the second half.
So we are just about ready to rock here for the second 45 minutes of play. So this Detroit City FC side looking to get back on top. They haven't trailed a whole heck of a lot. They trailed for a few minutes for the very first time this season here tonight, John. They didn't enjoy it all that much as they were able to turn that around really quick, as we will check out our upcoming schedule for Detroit City, as LaRouge will hit the road and play at Muskegon before hosting Corktown in a very critical stretch of this schedule as we begin to come down the home stretch.
I think the matches on the 5th and 12th there at Muskegon and against Corktown are going to really tell the tale for a lot of this divisional season, because Muskegon will know that they can beat Detroit City. They played well against Detroit City FC here at Keyworth a couple of weeks ago. Corktown will want a little revenge for the loss at home. If City can get the point or 3 tonight and get through those matches, it makes the back half of that schedule a lot easier for Sam Perani's club.
So we are back underway here at Keyworth. All to play for in the second half. Neil Rule, John Krieger with you. Happy to have you along for the ride on our Google 5 broadcast all over the state of Michigan. Chicago Mustangs and those road white kits that John Krieger is so fond of. And this portion of tonight's Watch City broadcast is brought to you by Google Fi. We're proud to have Google Fi, our new official partner of Detroit City FC. Google Fi, a different kind of phone plan with simpler pricing and smarter coverage. Learn more at phi.google.com. Here's Kenna White on the right side, stepping through. White's cross, headed wide of the frame. Sarah Hughey got on the other end.
Run. Nice job to get in there and be on the other end of the Kenna White cross, trying to do what she did on Wednesday night against Corktown with the Frederick cross. Very good in the air, Sarah Hughey, and very good in that 1v1 matchup, just couldn't finish. Let's take a look formationally. 3 attackers up front for Chicago right now, Neil. They've changed the shape just a little bit, not going with the single player up top. City's still sitting back in that 4-3-3, which is easily convertible to let those fullbacks come forward if City can tilt the field again.
Wolfbauer sends it wide to the right. Can Kenna White catch up? She cannot. Maddie Wolfbauer, the goal scorer for Detroit City. She's got 3 in her last match and a half. The reigning UWS Offensive Player of the Week, looking for more.
Both of City's center backs, by the way, right now marking Olsen up front.
Olsen came away with it temporarily. Yugi does well to maintain the control. That ball winged in towards the 18, coming off the line. Anna Karpenko, the keeper for Chicago, played for the U20 Canadian national team. Nakosia's attempt is blocked. Nakosia with some pressure now. She's going to Louisville next year for her freshman year. Also plays for the Argentina U20 national team.
Think about that. This kid is so good, she hasn't enrolled in college yet.
It will be interesting to watch her career progress. Walking in for Louisville, playing in the ACC, which means you get to play North Carolina all the time, and Duke, and on and on and on.
A lot of scouts watch a lot of ACC soccer matches.
There's a look at Emily Chudik. Came on as a substitute in this match. Ordino Dalevsky, head coach of the Chicago Mustangs. For Samperani on the other side in his second season for DCFC. He was a 4-time All-American at Madonna College during his playing days. Assistant coaches Charlie Bell and Patrick Griffin. Goalkeeper and assistant coach Kyle Winningham. John Evans, also the director of player personnel and assistant coach.
And actually, there's Charlie Bell in a transitional period right now, Neil. He is stepping over to DCFC Youth West, so he's kind of phasing out. So we'll say goodbye to him here at Keyworth, and Charlie Miles will make the step in as well to join Samperani. So to Charlie Bell, we say thank you so much, and as he kind of phases away from the first team women's action, and Charlie Miles coming in as well.
It's a whole lot of Charlies around town.
Everybody but Brown.
Absolutely. He was a blockhead anyway.
Well done.
Hey, she's going to pull the football away from you, man. Stop running up trying to kick it thinking it's going to be different, all right? Stop. Half volley up towards the midfield line. Taken by Margaret Berry. Plays her college soccer at Boston University. Counter attempt here for Nakosia. Stepping through, still had it. Finally taken away.
That's a great job by Frederick. Frederick came all the way back, matched Nakosia on the run, stepped in, clean challenge. That's the difference. You know, a lot of people ask me the difference between the men's and women's game, Neil. The ability to be physical in a challenge without being reckless. And most of City's challenges tonight, by virtue of the fact that the fouling, you know, it's been just as physical on both sides, but City's committed 4 fouls and Chicago's committed 9. The difference between that 9 and 4 fouls, City is much better at its physical play without getting the foul. Chicago has been forced to tug and pull and has drawn those whistles.
The a bit of a slower pace here to start this second half. We had an all-out track meet going in that first 45. Boy, great turn for City, but unable to catch up to it is Madison Duncan.
I think what we are reaching, if I can get it out there, what we are reaching here in the early part of the second half, and you talked about the fact that Chicago has been able to move forward a little bit. They had some joy at the end of the first half. Is we've reached with this young team that is still gelling wow, we can hang with these guys. Portion of the match, and so they now know they can run. And they've been a lot freer to try to take a shot at the City back line. And if you notice, Neil, City's back line that spent most of the first half basically camped out on the halfway line has retreated somewhat. They are about 10 yards further back than they were. They're having to respect Nakosia's runs. Olsen's had some more time on the ball.
And just to give you an idea of the depth this Detroit City FC roster has, see Melanie Forbes coming in for Sarah Hughey. Forbes, a forward at the University of Indiana, was a Big Ten Offensive Player of the Week last season, had 2 goals in a win against Iowa. So Big Ten Offensive Players of the Week coming off the bench for Sam Pirani. That's almost an embarrassment of riches.
You know, it is. And it really shows you his recruitment ability and the reputation that this club has and continues to build. The other story that I really enjoy was Ashley Zuge, who's on the pitch tonight. This is the kid who plays her college soccer at Nebraska.
Beautiful ball sent ahead. The stop is made. It's loose inside the 18 and cut out by Kutella. But the ball just bouncing around loose inside the 18. Tantalizing City. They will get a corner.
A little bit of a mistake there again. That pressure up top paying dividends for City, and all of a sudden the first save is made, and Kenna White tries to go in and clean up the trash. Look at the way Kenna breaks on the ball. Saw the collision, saw the ball wasn't corralled, and tried to break on it, and that's a really good job by the defender to get back and make the clearance. And now it's 1-1, both keepers going in there for some painful saves as Kapinko goes down and got that collection.
Corner sent towards the back post. Headed up. Carol Soto came over. So not to concede the corner. There's a cross. There's some numbers for City. Half volley! Curled just wide of the frame. Boy, Tatiana Mason was looking for a worldly.
She was trying to channel her inner Marley Taylor on the half volley, and it just didn't go. But the credit there is that Mason was able to get herself into space and read where the ball was going to be. And the ball just drifted on her, hung up a little bit in the wind.
That ball played over the line. The next 9 minutes of this broadcast brought to you by DTE. No matter where you are in your energy efficiency journey, DTE can help you score savings. Learn more at dteenergy.com/save energy. Spillo will scoop it up. It was nearly dangerous for City.
Becca's going to give me a second to kind of pay off that story that was interrupted by the attack. Ashley Zuge is a kid who plays her college soccer at Nebraska. She saw this team play on TV, decided she wanted to be a part of it. She watched the Muskegon match, picked up the phone, called Sam Pirani, said, "I'm a Big Ten athlete. You got a spot for me?" He said, "We'll take a look at you." And here she is in the starting 11. But high-quality athletes really want to be a part of the City environment. And that's going to make recruitment really easy for Sam Pirani going forward to be able to have players off the bench like he has.
That ball just over the top of Nakosia. Margaret Berry sends it down the touchline. Mustangs will get the possession. I told you this portion of the match brought to you by DTE. Speaking of DTE, you're going to have to turn the furnace on tonight, John. It's chilly out here right now.
I'm telling you, this is, other than some of those October matches we had at the end of last year, this is about as chilly as we've had Keyworth Stadium. Now, I'll take that over being in this press box at 95 degrees, though.
Fair. Pass slotted in, right-footed shot, and a diving stop made by Carpenter. Well, that was a quality opportunity for Melanie Forbes.
That's another great save by Carpenter on a well-placed shot by Forbes. Great service in, and Forbes with a great job to position her body, and Carpenter goes down and gets it. We talk about contenders for the Ally save of the match again. I think we've had a couple on both sides now.
It's getting to be a packed field, and there you see.
Look at that down. I think it might have hit the post, but you can't count on that as the keeper, and she goes down to get it. And two strong hands.
Well, you really have to. John, you never hear keepers get credit for that. You got to have diamond hands down there, man. Paper hands don't work.
You do. Listen, the funniest story that I ever heard as Olsen tried to go through there, and City's defense allows me to finish that. One of the things that happened on some Premier League clubs was that for one day, managers, when they would give lip to the keepers and say, well, how hard are you working? They made them go through a keeper practice, and the outfield players decided they never wanted to do that again. They have to work so hard. Up, down movement, and your hands, your wrists, your arms have to be so strong to make saves.
Spillo will play it across. 58th minute. Neil Rule, John Krieger with you. Our Google 5 broadcast. We're level at 1. Chicago Mustangs put Detroit City FC behind for the first time all season. Didn't last long. Maddie Wolfbauer stayed hot. She struck to equalize, and that is where we stand.
3 goals in a week for Maddie Wolfbauer. It's a good week. Look at the effort up front there by City. Just to press, and get the turnover. Now do something with it.
Wolfbauer tries to make a turn. Back heel pass. Connects. Duncan sends it back. City will reverse the pitch. They'll try the right side. White threads one towards the right touchline. Here comes City. Beautiful build-up on the right flank. It's cut out. And a corner coming up for DCFC. But, John, that was the beautiful game right there.
That's what we wanted to see all match. 1 touch, 2 touch, close control. The ball never further than about a yard away from anybody's boot. And you saw how quickly they were able to move down the pitch. High line here on this corner. City trying to send a couple of runners in. Wouldn't be surprised to see it be an in-swinger toward that back post.
Here we go. Ball sent into the mixing bowl, headed up in the air. Kenna White unable to track it down, and the goal kick upcoming.
Well, it was the in-swinger, but they just couldn't get on the business end of it. 30 minutes to go here, and then now it becomes, what's your strategy here? For City, it has to be, you got to get 3 points. You want to win your home matches, you got to get 3 points. You want to go ahead and do that. I wonder if at some point, Dalewski will be saying a point is good enough. Especially on the road.
Update to the DCFC U23 score. It's a final as they beat Livonia City 5-0. So a dominant performance by the U23s. So they're 6 of the 9 points down.
All right, trying to make it 9 for 9 here in the next 29 minutes plus stoppage.
Less than 30 minutes remaining here at Keyworth.
And we talk about a 9-point day, Neil, but it just shows you how deep the City structure is, that you have dominant teams in 4 leagues.
Nakosia gives chase, and that ball forced to the touchline by Margaret Berry. But we we knew she had pace, John, and you saw it right there. That's ACC level pace.
Turned on the Jets.
That's just a gear that most people can't get to. City attempting to build out the counter.
Nice job to hold off the defender there and create a foul. That is an all. You know what? Madison Duncan there just held off her defender and forced Chicago to foul her. What that does is that's going to stop the action. That's going to allow City to reset, bring everybody forward, force Chicago's defense back, and get into the position where they've been for most of the match. And that is all just fine. I'm going to make you make me foul me and set things up. And that was not the free kick that Margaret Berry wanted.
But they get away with it as they keep the possession. A go, and that ball's off the crossbar. I believe that Carpenter got a piece of it with the fist as well. That was dangerous.
Good cutout, too.
And John, I'll tell you what, that's been on the Detroit City agenda here today, to give some lashes, try to feather a finish from deep.
They have players that have the ability to do that, and it's the result of unselfish play and being able to shoot in space. You take lashes from deep when you have the space to do it, and you have the space to do it because you have enough attacking players playing.
But how about this? This was high quality.
That is a beautiful ball in, and oops. Keeper would have been beaten, I think, but they couldn't beat the crossbar. And here's Olsen. Look out!
And that ball is slotted into the back of the net. And the Mustangs take a 2-1 lead, the second of the night for Mallory Olsen. Just like that, the Mustangs have seized control.
Now that's why they are so dangerous. They were able to go ahead and quickly on the counter move forward. That is a picture of a unhappy man on the City bench, because Olsen got some space and put it under Berry and past Prisbello. Did Margaret Berry jump there? No, just slotted it through her. And now Dino Dalewski can park the bus, because now you're in position to take 3 points. You'd be okay perhaps with one, and it's all City with the work to do. But they've been behind once before, and they've equalized. Let's see if they can do it again.
Rowan coming up now for the Mustangs, and was interesting to see, John, as we saw Mallory Olsen kind of motion to the Northern Guard too, put the hand up to the ear, which will certainly endear her to the fans here at Keyworth.
Listen, ask and ye shall receive. But again, it goes back to what we talked about in the first half. She scores, gives her team the lead on the road, and her first instinct is to taunt the Northern Guard. It doesn't end well, ever.
That will be up to City here offensively. There's some space for Zuge to work in. Making a run up the left side, receiving it is Duncan. Duncan working 1v1. Makes a cut, makes a stop.
Got fouled and it wasn't called.
Throw-in coming up for Chicago, and you will see this here in the 65th minute already a very deliberate pace to throw the ball in. And hey, that's their chair in the game right now, John. Fair play to them. They've got the 2 goals on the board.
Absolutely. When you're playing with the big stack of chips,
it's easy to bully people around,
isn't it? You start checking seams on balls, admiring the sunset here at Keyworth.
The socks. The socks always seem to be adjusted
Just
more.
That shin guard needs to be, shin pad needs to be adjusted. Shoelaces need to be retied.
There's a checklist, I believe. Arashank played it ahead. And that ball played back, and City now looking to build up again. "25-ish minutes left here." And John, that's always what's intriguing to me about the game of soccer, how quickly a match changes and how quickly what's asked of you changes. And it changes everything.
You know, the uninformed bit. And we got a city sub here coming in is Hamaji. So that'll be another body in midfield, replacing Marley Taylor. So no more game-winning goal, all-world chance as Marley Taylor comes off the pitch and Hamaji comes on. Back to your point, Neil, yes. A lot of uninformed people about soccer think that some of the midfield playing different things is boring. Frankly, the momentum changes and the dynamic changes throughout a 90-minute match never really stop. And in a 1-1 game, that second goal is so huge. And Chicago getting it really does change what is being asked of City in terms of position, in terms of shape, in terms of pressure. And it really takes some pressure off of Chicago. They're playing with house money right now. And that was not a great touch, but a nice job to go and get it again there by Forbes. Lost the ball, and then immediately in good body position to win it back.
Pass skips over to Madison Duncan. And the Mustangs, John, really stymieing the build-up, or the attempted build-up by Detroit City.
Yeah, they've gone to 3 at the back, and they are absolutely clogging things in midfield. They're not pressuring the ball, Neil. They're sitting back and eliminating passing lanes. They're trying to make City beat them individually, and then when the touch is heavy like that one was, they just go clean it up.
Mallory Olsen gave Chicago this 2-1 lead.
Margaret Berry will want that back right through the wickets. And I think it took a little deflection there off of maybe one of her legs. She turned the body and it just went through.
And she put the hand to the ear to the Northern Guard.
I promise you, if City score again here, the Northern Guard will let her know exactly how much noise that they can make.
She's got some moxie, though. There's no question about it. Plays college soccer at Central Florida, a transfer from Miami Hurricanes. As Carpenter goes to the turf after making the catch.
I'll tell you what, that's a great move by Carpenter. Go up there, 2 strong hands, makes the catch.
We were talking about Mallory Olsen. She scored 4 goals as a freshman for the Miami Hurricanes. She can play, there's no doubt. She can score. And there you see it's a non-physical game, right, John?
Yeah. Most what was it you said a while back? The most physical non-contact sport in the world?
Out there. Speaking of talent, here's Nakosia.
So efficient in midfield right now, Chicago. This is exactly what Dino Dalewski wanted.
And John, as we said, a non-physical game, right?
With some stitches.
As Schmeiser needs to come to the bench.
Gonna need a new kit too. She's got blood on the jersey.
She'll get some medical attention.
Anybody who says these players don't care and don't give it all, just look at that shot. You asked me in the open to this game, what do you do when both teams want possession and want to control the tempo? And now that they are leading 2-1, you have seen Dino Dalewski's goal for this match start to come into fruition, because there is an awful lot of just midfield possession and ball control right now by Chicago. And it has clogged up the midfield, and City have been muscled up off the ball. We're not used to seeing this. The last 2 matches against Lansing and against Corktown City were by far the more physical and technical team. They have met their match this evening against a Chicago team that, frankly, I did not see it coming from, if I'm being honest. First league match of the year, new team in the league, haven't had a whole lot of training time with each other, and they've come in and played well tonight.
Well, John, as you know, talent is the great equalizer, and this is a talented Chicago Mustangs side. That call will go against Chicago. So City here will get the restart as we have moved in to the 72nd minute. Neil Rule, John Krieger with you.
Looks like we've got a City sub getting ready to come in. Can't see the numbers she's got a penny on.
Ball played short. Sent out wide. Set piece here from Detroit City. That cross goes in. And it's headed away. Wolfbauer goes after it, but will not come away with it. That ball will ride the touchline down. Throw-in coming up for City. Quick throw-in. It's headed out, though, and now Chicago will get it back, and we'll see that very deliberate throw coming up. And it looks like for Detroit City, Mackenzie Ruber will come in to the match. Ruber is a college soccer at Bowling Green. Played 52 minutes against Mississippi in the NCAA tournament this year. 27 career matches started. Sam Pirani moving the chess pieces around, looking for an equalizer.
I think he brings in Ruber here because she has performed in high-pressure situations. She was a MAC All-Tournament team member in 2019. And you know from calling matches in a one-bid conference, those conference tournament championship matches, it doesn't get higher pressure than that.
Ball chipped up ahead, and the stop, or the grab, is made again by Carpenter. Interesting to see two on the sideline now for Detroit City. Mami Yamaguchi will come into the match at the next opportunity. 18 matches played for the Japanese national team. This will be our first look at her. Played her college soccer at Florida State. Got her number retired for the Seminoles. The first ever women's soccer player to have her number retired. Won the Herman Award that year, which is the college soccer version of the Heisman Trophy. And Yamaguchi will come in for Detroit City, and Sam Pirani right now looking for an equalizer, John. That's plain and simple.
And just watching Mame comes on the pitch, and you see the intensity from the first step. The special thing about her, she's been brought in to be an assistant on the UWS 2 side and to work with players as well. And she's one of those players who are coaches who, even in training when she's coaching, she's got her boots on. She wants to be a hands-on player and make players better. And we got a booking here.
Business is picking up as Yamaguchi comes in for Tatiana Mason. Yamaguchi, as we said, very decorated international career. Also played in the UEFA Champions Cup final as well. This portion of the match is broadcast to you by Stroh's, dependably Detroit since 1850.
Got one waiting for me at home.
It's not the first time. There is Dino Dolevsky. He can taste it right now.
That's a satisfied coach right now.
He can taste it. Shot on frame. The grab is made by Carpenko. Not a big challenge for her to make that grab.
There's that long ball over the top we've been waiting to see all match. And look at Nakosia track it down in the pace.
Nakosia has it poked away, but the damage is done because of throw-ins coming deep in that final third of Detroit City.
I've been waiting to see that long ball over the top for 70 minutes, and it came and almost caught City out.
That direct ball really goes against the DNA of what Dolevsky wants to do, but you know, in these situations, throw it out there to the talent. Let her go make a play.
You know, but what it also does is it puts doubt into the minds of the center backs. and says, well, if they can do that, now I've got to respect it. And now you see a player that can run onto something. So that's going to make your center backs, maybe your full backs, play a yard further back. City has to retake the free kick after they tried to gain some real estate.
Kenna White gives chase. Can she get there? She cannot, but she does get a throw. Yamaguchi gives chase.
And won another throw.
Ruber will throw it in. Look at Kenna White out there with Yamaguchi. You forget Maddie Wolfbauer's got 3 goals in her last match and a half, match and 3/4.
Good touch there for Kenna White.
That ball goes just wide of the frame. But there you see the impact, John, of the substitutions beginning to show itself.
They bet in. Samprani waited a long time to shuffle the deck, but now he's bringing on fresh legs with pace. Remember, most of Chicago's substitutions took place from minute 30 to minute 60. They're going to have some gas out of the tank. Now you bring in and reshuffle things. You bring in players that can run and control. It's one way to try to give yourself an advantage in the final 15 minutes as City look for the equalizer tonight. And was that not a foul? That's surprising with a two-handed push to the back.
Samperani pushing all the buttons right now. Ashley Zuge, 34 career matches started at Nebraska. Morgan Ritano will come in. She started all 9 matches for Purdue Fort Wayne this season.
Kenna White is the player that is substituted out. So one of City's big attacking guns being substituted here.
Substitution number 7, Morgan Ritano, and for number 24, Kenna White.
That ball was knocked down, and now a goal kick coming up. So the screws continue to tighten. 79th minute.
And now the big message is you want to keep playing your game. You don't want to press too hard in terms of taking a bad shot or committing a turnover and making a mistake.
Judic had it, gave it back. Nakosia making a turn. She's got that left foot. She lets it go, and she finishes. 3-1 Chicago. Nina Nakosia. We talked about how dangerous she was, and she showed that left foot with a quality finish.
The one thing you don't want to do with her is let her go to her left. And that was 3 straight touches with the left foot, and the third one is in the back of the net. Held the defender off for 1 touch and gone. So good with the left foot. Basically a left-footed player. The way to beat her is to try to force her right. She held off her defender. She didn't miss. And it's going to be a point, I think, for every goal that Chicago has on the scoreboard tonight.
Haley Blanchard comes in for the Mustangs as a substitution. As her college soccer at Southern Illinois was a transfer from Missouri out of the SEC. Detroit City FC, John, up against it now, down 2 with less than 10 minutes of regulation play.
And now you've got to really chase the game and come even further forward, and that's going to leave you vulnerable at the back.
But as I always like to say, John, there's no difference between 3-1 and 4-1.
Yep, you're absolutely right in this case. City pressing forward. They've taken Kenna White off, remember.
Maggi touches it wide to the right. Yamaguchi. In towards the 18. That shot is stopped. Let's get you tonight's attendance, brought to you by Rip It Energy, 2,225. Now remember, the restrictions will begin to ease starting next week with the men's matches, so make sure you go to DebtCityFC.com. Get out here, be a part of it. We're back. Soccer's back.
Knights at Keyworth are back.
Knights at Keyworth are back. Let's get out here.
Number 1 versus number 2 in Nisa right now, Wednesday nights. Midweek showcase.
Yamaguchi, the target.
Great job by Chicago to cut that out and outlet.
And that ball sent through. And now City will get it back. And make sure you keep in mind our next Watch City broadcast. That will be Wednesday night against the LA Force. That'll be available on YouTube. Mike Kuju as well. Myself and John Krieger will be with you. We will be back on TV next Saturday night. All across the state of Michigan. Available in over 8 million homes across the state. That ball threaded through, making a run is Carol Soto. Can she get on the end of it? She does. Soto puts the brakes on. Steps through, dangles it on the line. She's taken down from behind. Throw-in coming up for the Chicago Mustangs.
And this is perfect for Chicago. 2-goal lead and a throw-in down in the attacking third. Take your time on it.
Ruiz reverses the pitch.
I got to give Chicago credit, Neil. Coming into this match with what I saw of this team, I didn't think it was if City would win. I thought it would be by how many. And they have come in here and played things differently. And I think they've showed UWS that this team in its first year of play in the league is going to be something to deal with in UWS.
And again, John, just the talent that's out there on the pitch. You know, and we've seen it on display too. And Mallory Olsen has been brilliant here tonight. Nina Nakosia is going to play college soccer at Louisville. Plays for the Argentinian U20 national team. Their high-level players, John, have been just that, high level.
Yeah, and you wondered if they would gel and play as a team in their first outing in the league. Difficult environment like Keyworth Stadium. They have played well.
Well, John, I like to say talent doesn't need a lot of time to gel.
Well, I'll tell you what. Well, it has gelled quickly.
Yes.
And you said it. Talent is telling. And City are talented too, but Chicago's been better tonight.
That ball just trickles across the line. Throwing coming up for Detroit City.
And I think if you ask Sam Pirani, he'll say we had a lot of chances, that we could have done things better. We could have been more technical. We could have had better touches and not given the ball right back when we got turnovers. And it stayed 1-1 for a long time. You let Chicago hang around. They got a second, then they got a third.
So Megan Miles came into the match for Detroit City FC. Okay, so we get ready to cross into the 86th minute. Detroit City FC up against it, down 3-1. 2 second-half goals for the Mustangs, the difference.
You know, I'm also reminded of what Trevor James told us a while back in terms of coming in here, and Sam Pirani has echoed it. For a lot of players, this will be one of the biggest crowds they play in front of all season on some of these visiting teams. It becomes like a cup final for them, and Chicago have played well and answered that cup final challenge.
There's no doubt you're going to get all the smoke, literally and figuratively, when you come in here to Keyworth.
And it's how do you respond to it? And they have responded very well.
Throw inside the 18.
And look at that. Chicago is just really content to keep conceding throw-ins anywhere but in front of our goal and in play. Yep, just headed up there, headed out. The positioning on the field for Chicago is anywhere but their own area.
Yamaguchi has it poked away.
It's pretty good close control there.
Nakosia again. She scored the last goal. Wings it out to the left side. Comes Blanchard. She's closed off. Finds an outlet.
Smart, didn't go for goal. Possession more important here.
Mallory Olsen pokes it ahead. Nakosia, dangerous again.
And that was the difference, Neil, between that play and the goal she scored. She couldn't get the ball on her left foot. City shut it down.
Remember, we'll be back at you coming up on Wednesday. On the men's side, as they square off against the LA Force, as we move into the 88th minute, you know what that means. Smoke is out.
And the way the wind is blowing, we might come close to a smoke delay late.
I think the breeze has just crossed the pitch enough. We'll see.
The fog descends here on Keyworth Stadium.
Some great shots there by our camera crew.
Reminder, tickets for that LA Force match on Wednesday night still available. DeadCityFC.com to purchase your tickets today. Come join us at Keyworth.
That ball curled in towards the frame, but the grab is made by Carpenter.
Prisbello fighting the smoke on the other end. She's had to come well out of her goal because she can't hang back in it and see.
That ball taken by Schmeiser. Back through the middle. Now it's sent out wide to Blanchard. And John, I'll tell you what, the Mustangs have been pretty clinical as far as their possession. When you have a 2-goal lead, when you're in the dying moments of the match, it's been very much textbook from them. As you said, the eye is not on the goal. The eye is to keep the ball longer.
Yep, the eye is on the clock. That's the only thing that matters. You've got the 2 goals you need to win this. You can concede a goal and still win this. The only thing that matters is that ticking red number on the right-hand side of Keyworth Stadium. Concede throw-ins, everything eats up time. Now, you've had a lot of substitutions. I wouldn't be surprised to see about 3 minutes of stoppage time. But with a 2-goal lead and you're into the 90th minute, it's keep ball. And that's all it is. Easy little back pass. Find the player in 5 yards of space. Get it there. Wait for the space to close and dispatch the ball.
Here's City with it.
You need one here quick. And the touch just hasn't been good enough.
Wolfbauer was fouled. They need to move quickly, and they will. Wolfbauer will create her own space. Mia Perry says, what, me?
Yeah, that's an Alfred E. Newman. What, me, Larry?
Wolfbauer drives it towards the frame and just over top of the bar.
You know what? And that's been City all night, Neil. Half a yard off. For a lot of this match, the touch half a yard off, the shot half a yard off. Those nights happen sometimes. But I'll tell you what, this has made the divisional race a lot more interesting really quick. And the 3 minutes of stoppage time we were expecting, I think we're going to get it.
Yamaguchi.
Good touch.
Touch ahead.
Just too far. Nice pressure by the back line for Chicago, and they'll just let that go out.
So with this 3 minutes of stoppage time, this corner becomes critical now for Detroit City. They'll play it short. Cross sent in.
And the anywhere but here clearance.
Right. It's like when the bar closes at 2 a.m., John.
You don't have to go home, but
you can't stay here, man. Like, that's the way it is. Ball flicked over and not able to get on the other end of it. It's Morgan Ritano. And, John, just as you said, a half a yard away.
And it shows you, I mean, for City to have been, they had large portions of this match, Neil, where they were by far had the upper hand. You have to be able to take advantage of those moments. This match wasn't necessarily lost for City when Nakosia scored her third or Olsen scored the second. It perhaps was lost in the 40th minute when City had controlled things in the offensive half of the pitch for 15 minutes, and it was still 1-1. That's where the 90-minute match really comes in.
Long ball sent up towards the 18. Yamaguchi on the other end. Two defenders come in right away. They bang it over the line. Wolfbauer makes a turn. Her shot. And once again, standing true. Carpenter was right there.
And you know, you talk about talented, smart, good kids. Carpenter, my player of the match for Chicago, because she made a couple of key saves in the first half going low to her right, and she's been well positioned for most of the night. You'd say Olsen with a brace, but Carpenter's so good.
The final whistle sounds, and the Chicago Mustangs get a 3-1 win over Detroit City FC right here in historic Keyworth Stadium. And John, as you talked about, this was an earned result. There was no trickery to it or anything like that. They came in, and they got a 3-1 win, well earned.
I tell you what, Chicago and Detroit, two blue-collar cities, hard-working cities. And Chicago came in here tonight to Detroit, and they earned their 3 points. They hung around. You know, they got an early lead, surrendered the equalizer, got punched in the mouth a little bit, worked hard.
Let's take a look at tonight's Save of the Match, presented by Ally. Start saving for what matters to you at ally.com. That was Becca Prisbillo early on in this match. And little did we know, John, that would stop a potential hat trick for Mallory Olsen. But Prisbillo came out, gave up her body, and got the stop.
And Becca Prisbillo tried her best for City tonight. A couple of goals, not a whole lot she could do about them, but sacrificing the body there. And a good save of the match winner.
So Detroit City FC falls short. 3-1. We will take a break, come back, and wrap this thing up for you. 3 points for the Chicago Mustangs in their first match of the season. They get the win 3-1 over City. We'll be right back with more. This is our Google Fi Watch City broadcast.
Football is a big deal in this house. So when Maurice was injured, we immediately thought the worst. To see my baby lose his joy hurt.
The DMC, Rehabilitation Institute of Michigan, is here to help athletes get back in the game.
They're like family. It was a long road, but we made it back.
DMC, Rehabilitation Institute of Michigan, a community built on care.
Goodbye and the spam calls. Hello to a phone plan with built-in spam blocking. See you later, networks that are unsafe. Hello, built-in VPN. Now the networks I join are private. So long, hackers and trackers finding my personal information. Hello to a phone plan that keeps me safe and secure. Goodbye, everything you can't. Hello, Google Fi, a phone plan that can.
Chevy is America's fastest growing full-line brand, and people are taking it everywhere. Taking Trailblazer outdoors, confidently taking on new places with Equinox, and taking on more with Silverado. Whatever you do, there's a perfect Chevy to take you anywhere. Find your perfect Chevy. GM employees with a current eligible Chevy lease can get this Equinox for $189 a month. Chevrolet, the best-selling family of SUVs in Metro Detroit. Chevy drives the Motor City. Visit ChevyDetroit.com.
The highways and the thruways try to map you, baby. I got your back.
To the rest of the world, Detroit is where they build cars. But to your Metro Detroit Chevy dealers and everyone who proudly call themselves Detroiters, it goes way beyond that.
I got your back.
Detroit may be known for building cars, but together, we all built Detroit.
We are one when we get going.
Put it in D and see why Chevy drives the Motor City.
Back inside historic Keyworth Stadium, Chicago Mustangs come on the road and get the convincing 3-1 win over Detroit City FC. Let's take a look at tonight's Woman of the Match, presented by Google Fi and for DCFC. She stayed hot. Maddie Wolfbauer, 2 goals against Lansing United, the Offensive Player of the Week, and she struck again here tonight. Leveled this match at the time for DCFC, but she has continued to produce high-quality goals.
And she's got a great finish. She's going to be a productive player for City throughout the season because she knows how to get into space, she knows how to turn, and she knows how to finish. Did it again tonight.
She did, but it wasn't enough for City as we take a look at our highlights from tonight's match. In this 3-1 Chicago Mustangs victory. It was a very entertaining match here tonight. Both sides went back and forth end to end. Mallory Olsen got things started with the goal, and John, that was a quality strike from Olsen, and that gave the Mustangs the lead. But as we just talked about, Wolfbauer will come back and level.
She comes through and takes advantage of the mistake and a good finish. And then Olsen the other way, and Becca Persbello sacrifices the body for our ally. Save of the match to keep things 1-1. City had chances all night. We talked about it. That's an example of the half yard off. Another example off the cross-yard bar. And then Olsen gets the game-winning goal and gives a little bit to the Northern Guard. She gets the upper hand before finally Nakosia goes left and finishes and wraps up all 3 points.
That goal by Nina Nakosia would close the door on City. And as you said, 3-1 the win for the Chicago Mustangs, and for Detroit City FC, all the more important divisional play as far as their side of the division picks back up, and you have to shake it off and come back and get points.
Got to learn from this. Sam Perroni's going to have a lot of opportunity to give his players something to work on, and they go right back into divisional schedule. Got to get back to the winning ways.
They will hit the road to square off against the Muskegon Risers next Saturday. They'll be back here on June 12th against Corktown AFC. So that will do it for our broadcast here from Keyworth tonight, brought to you by Google Fi. For everybody here on our Watch City broadcast, my broadcast partner John Krieger and our entire crew, my name is Neil Rule, reminding you one final time, the Mustangs get the win 3-1 over Detroit City FC. Thank you for watching, everybody. Well, see you later.